Oh, good morning. Good to see you again. I'm Marshall Shea. I'm one of the assistant store managers here at Royal Market, and I'd like to talk to you about some of the customer complaints we've seen over the past few months, what trends we can derive from them, and where we as a company should go with this information. So, 6 months ago, we implemented curbside delivery, where customers would be able to order groceries through our app and then have it delivered directly to their car outside our store. Well, customers love this. Every curbside customer has had great experiences with it. They're leaving 5-star reviews. But we're seeing some difficulties with our previous in-store customers, and there's some conflict of interest in how day-to-day operations are being handled. The nature of positive customer relations and the reason we're not seeing those is satisfaction. And it's making sure in-person customers and curbside customers both walk away or drive away satisfied and wanting to come back and wanting to increase their ACC or average cart cost. The nature of positive customer relations for grocery stores is the amount of return customers we're able to withhold, especially with so many close subsidiaries and so many close substitutes. It's really important that we create this aura of satisfaction. And this satisfaction has to be measured for both in-store and curbside customers. When trying to solve this problem, it's really important that we demonstrate a customer service mindset as well. We have to make sure we're valuing the loyalty and the trust of all of our customers, both in-store and curbside. It doesn't make sense to completely do away with these curbside deliveries as we're seeing such an increase in revenue from it. We're seeing an increase in new customers and return customers because of this place utility we're able to provide that no other grocery store in the city is able to match. So it's really important that we find a way to satisfy this need while also restructuring the system to satisfy the needs of our in-person customers. Keeping both customers in mind, I have a few ways that I'd like to discuss with you that I think could help handle these customer complaints. First off, I'd like to modify the way that our carts are being structured. As you can see here on my screen, there's several key issues with the way that our carts are presented right now. They're unwieldy, they obstruct the flow of traffic in the aisles, and they obstruct the view of in-person customers, making it more difficult for people to see. As you can see here, I have developed a prototype to modify our design simply by removing the top rack, which would cost us absolutely nothing. And that would allow us to not only control the carts better, but operate them at a higher efficiency, as our old carts are only operating at about 60% efficiency. Well, that's true. Restructuring the way our carts look and behave will also allow us to increase the number of carts we use from 6 to 10 without costing us any upfront capital. While cart modification is certainly a place to start, I think there's some other key issues that we need to address with some of the customer complaints we've seen. As you can see here, in-person shopping hours for our store peak at around 5 p.m., where contrarily, curbside pickup peak at around 6 to 8 p.m., and then from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., which is when our store closes, as I'm sure you're aware. While I think it doesn't make sense to eliminate any hours for in-person or curbside delivery, as that simply obstructs the flow of a capital stream, I think there's a way we can modify it to keep both parties happy and kind of make the best of both worlds, if you will. I think modifying the hours of 4 to 6 p.m. is specifically important because that's when we're seeing the most in-person customers, so having as little of our employees in the aisles obstructing the flow of traffic is really, really important. That's why I think it's important that we start trying to pre-fill our bags as much as possible and pre-filling the orders throughout the day that are supposed to be picked up from 4 to 6 p.m. That way, when those customers come, we don't have to go fill their orders as they're arriving, and they're simply going to be at our designated curbside service center already filled. Not only is this kind of going to flow up the streams of traffic in the aisle, increasing customer satisfaction, visibility, ease of access, but it's also going to increase efficiency for our curbside delivery. While this is true, I think that only addresses 2 of the 3 issues and the general trends we've seen from our customer reviews. And the third being a very pressing issue, as we're getting reviews saying our employees are inconsiderate or not answering some of the questions that customers are asking. Now, there's a couple ways that we can reinforce our company image through the performance of these underperforming employees. And I think the best way to do this is to implement paid in-service training on the first Monday of every month. While this is a mild capital investment, Not only will we be able to inform our employees on increased customer service tricks, re-inform them of the store layout, making them easier to answer questions and more accessible to the consumer. Help them with the new cart system, make sure they can move them easily, and make sure they're moving into unpopulated sections when there are customers in the way so as not to obstruct the general stream of customers. And I think this would be an easy way to communicate these changes and any further changes to staff with a monthly Monday meeting. Well, that's true. I think it's also important to make sure these changes and this information gets distributed to our customers. And I think there's a really easy and efficient way to go about this. As you can see here, this is my Royal Rewards profile. And here is just the mock-up of the message that we could promote on this app. Attention, Royal Rewards Promies. And essentially what we would say in that is informing them of the new hours, instructing them that bags will be pre-filled from 4 to 6 p.m., as well as the fact that any order placed between 4 and 6 p.m. would then be postponed to from 7:30 to 10 p.m., which would be okay because that's when we're already seeing the highest customer volume as we're seeing in our consumer data. This communication channel will also allow us to free up advertising revenue if we ever want to increase promotions for other things in the future, as this is cheap, free, and effective, as well as being extremely targeted, only hitting the specific customers who would already be going to this app to place their curbside deliveries. While this is true, I think it's also important to identify some of the product and service advantages that we've created here at Royal Market. As I mentioned earlier, in a town of 150,000 people, we're the only grocery store able to provide curbside utility. Now that's a place and time utility that's unmatched by our competition. And that's extremely important in today's society, not only in the midst of COVID-19 where customers are more reluctant to head into stores, but they're more favoring things that can fit into their schedule between soccer practice, after work, before a ballet recital, things like that. The modern grocery consumer is looking to make this process as fast and efficient as possible, which is why we've seen such success and such strides in our curbside delivery program. Although I may have talked for a little bit, and it does seem like a lot of information, I think we can have this infrastructure completely developed by the 21st of November. That would be this Saturday. And I think the reason we'll be able to do that is we're utilizing all the resources that we've already set up and working off of the infrastructure that we've built here at Royal Market. The cart modification is not only extremely simple, but it increases our efficiency by only removing and not having to add, which eliminates a capital investment, as well as the infrastructure of the app as an advertising stream, eliminating costs otherwise that we could be doing with things like in-store promotions or television advertising, which would go outside of our desired target market, as well as being up in a form of above-the-line promotion that would overall not be worth the return on the capital employed. I think that we should meet by December 12th after our first employee in service, if that is all right with you. And of course, I've emailed you all of this information as well as some of the documentation that I've showed you today, as well as a letter of authorization and the payroll records that we would need to put forth for any paid in-service training on Mondays. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate the listen. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you for your time.